What's up, guys? JackWagon garage here again. There's one JackWagon, there's two JackWagons. We got a little too excited today and totally forgot to start recording at the beginning of this, so we kind of have some things apart already. But we have Devin's 03 WRX wagon on the lift today. You guys have seen it in a couple previous videos. I believe I've also mentioned in a previous video that he, what was it, third? Second gear. He blew up second gear in his 5-speed, the factory 5-speed in it, which these are pretty known to do a lot. Not necessarily just second specifically, but it is known for these 5-speeds to be pretty weak when you start putting power in them, and he's making like a little over 300 horsepower, so it's pretty common for them for something to go in the 5-speeds. A pretty popular upgrade to do is to swap to a WRX STI, the 6-speeds, and the STI was not out in the 02 and 03 years, but it's still a pretty easy swap. It pretty much all bolts in, and the 6-speeds are just way stronger than the 5-speeds. The only thing you gotta do is swap to the 6-speed trans, which that's what we have here. This is all out of an 06 STI. We got the rear differential because the gearing is different, and being all-wheel drive you have to match all the ratios for all four wheels to be spinning at the same speed. He pretty much got everything for the swap. I mean, we even got rear Brembos, STI axles, a whole STI rear subframe really, and then obviously the transmission over there, got the STI drive shaft, STI front axles and front hubs, stuff like that. So yeah, we've already got our mid-pipe and axle back off, the whole catback exhaust. He's working on, we're gonna start getting the rear axles out so we can drop the rear diff. We kind of already started up at the top. We got the intercooler off, a couple of bolts up at the top, little things like that. We're hoping by lunch today have everything out. We'll start test fitting the 6-speed up in there. All right, a little update here. Made some progress. We got the factory WRX's 5-speeds rear differential out. We've got the STI one in. Devin's just snugging up some bolts. Snugger up. And then obviously we got all the axles out, and well, the rear axles. I think that's all we've about done since the last time. We have run into one small issue, which we were kind of expecting anyways. We weren't 100% sure what was going to happen with this, but it didn't necessarily blindside us because we were partially expecting this. But for those of you who don't know, STIs from 05 and up have always come with the 5x114 lug pattern for the wheels, and WRXs have always had a 5x100. So like wheels are not interchangeable between a WRX and a STI. Based on the fact that the holes for the wheels are in different positions because it's a different spacing between the lug studs, which are these here, just here where your wheel would bolt onto your hub. And we weren't sure what we were going to do with the axles, whether we were going to try to use STI axles or use WRX axles. We were hoping that the STI axles would fit into, I mean, obviously they'd fit in the STI differential because they were made to, but we were also hoping that the other ends of the axle, because one end goes into the differential here, comes all across and goes into the hub here, and we were hoping that the STI axles would fit into the WRX hubs, and unfortunately they did not. So so then what we were hoping is maybe the WRX axles would fit into the STI differential, and those didn't either. So we're kind of at a standstill. Since this is a WRX, Devin's wheels, the bolt pattern here is a 5x100, but we can't use, like I said, the STI hubs because they're 5x114. So his wheels will not bolt on these hubs, but these hubs are the only hole for the splines that will fit our STI axles. So Ben has a out there, he's got a Outback XT, and he did a 6-speed swap in his also, and he kind of had the same issue because the Outbacks are also 5x100 wheel, and his issue was basically the same thing, where the axles didn't swap over from an STI into the WRX. And what he had to do was have an axle shop here local in Chattanooga to basically, they take this outer joint off, re-spline the axle shaft to accept WRX outer joint. So basically what we're going to be doing is, this is our STI inner, that'll go in our diff. We'll have our STI shaft, re-spline the end here, and then slip our WRX outer joints onto our STI shaft. And then that way we can slide this into our factory WRX hubs, and we get to keep all of our factory set up on the WRX. He gets to keep his wheels, and that'll be the end of that problem. But unfortunately, obviously that axle shop's not gonna be open today. It's the weekend. We're gonna have to wait and have that done over the week. Costs a few $100s, and it kind of puts us back a little bit, but like I said, we were kind of expecting it. So
keep my wheels.
yes, Devin likes his wheels too much. You don't want to get rid of them.
Very nice wheels.
But like I said, rear diff's in now. We're gonna, I guess, start removing probably his 5-speed out and test fitting the 6-speed in there, see all what we need to do to make that work. All right, a little more progress done here. We got the front axles out. No more axles in there. Let me get a flashlight. Where's my box? Here's my box.
Close it up, bro.
No more axles in the front. Starting to get the transmission out. Got a couple more bolts and a cross member is all. Should come out pretty soon. We were draining the oil out. And like I said earlier, basically, so what happened is 5-speed is that he lost second gear. It just, like, no more go in second. And so pulling the drain plug, it's a magnetic drain plug, and we found all the teeth from his gear. Look at that, there's a whole, there's literally an entire tooth almost from his second gear. Just pieces, and I'm sure there's way more scattered throughout the whole transmission, but right there on the plug. There's second. So, yes, definitely due to upgrade to the stronger 6-speed. But what we have to do is we had to run to the parts store. Went out and got some lunch and then ran to the parts store because this here is our STI axle, front axle. This here is our WRX front axle, a factory WRX front axle. And as you can see, this end goes in the 6-speed transmission. Well, on the WRX, it doesn't have that long spoke on there because the splines is actually part of the transmission rather than being part of the axle. So basically what we had to do is go get an 06 WRX axle. So then, plus we couldn't use the STI axle because, let me flip this axle over. As you can see, this is the WRX axle. It's got this extra little kind of flat, smooth spot here that the STI axle doesn't have. So the STI axle would not fit in a WRX hub, and then the WRX axle would not fit on the transmission side. So we ended up finding out that a newer WRX axle, these are specifically for an 06 WRX, have this end just like the STI does for the transmission side, but it has this end like the WRX does. So this end will fit in our WRX hubs, this end will fit on our STI transmission, and that figures out our front axle problem. Just on the rear axles, we're still gonna probably have to have them custom made. Alrighty, got the 5-speed completely out. 6 speeds completely in. Got the brand new axles, front axles in. New clutches on there. Well, newish clutch. 6-puck that came with the swap Devin purchased. Yep, trans is in. We got the rear drive shaft in. We got the rear differential in. The only thing we don't have in right now is rear axles. Like I said, because he's got to get some custom ones made, so those aren't going to be able to go in today. We're actually just getting ready to put the suspension back together. Now we just need to slap the wheels back on it so it can roll outside, because it's going to take about a week or so probably to get those custom axles in. So we're just going to put it out for now. It's have to wait till probably this next weekend. We'll get it finished up. Kind kind of record the last bit of progress that needs to be done to get it going. We got the, I know Devin was up in it, and we got the shifter all bolted up and the shift boot and shift knob back on it and such. So the interior is almost buttoned back up together. Still have like the inner cooling off and stuff like that up top, but we'll just button it up when we're got the new axles to put in the back, and we'll take on our first test drive when we get the axles back.